you. Thank you. We're better for the music here, aren't we, today? Absolutely. I sometimes ask people, okay, did you sing at work today? This week at all? Anybody sing? Good. We don't always give ourselves that opportunity, I believe. So, hey, friends, it is just amazing to be here with you again. Some of you I got to meet last year, and you remember me better than I remember your faces and names, but thank you, Reverend Pat, for inviting me again, and especially in this time of what we now call Earth Month. You know, we've been growing our awareness of the earth in so many different ways, and it's not just one day, right? Earth Day is every day, so we just appreciate Reverend Pat, and you know, when I think of the people that I've worked with just to be here and to share this weekend, I want to appreciate Adam. Where's Adam, that has done so much to bring the team together? And of course, Connie. Connie gets details like my lunch today. Thank you, Connie. But the Unity Minneapolis Earth Care team, we want to just give them our like spotlight, because they're doing so many things in and through this ministry. Are you here? If you're here, stand up. You know, just stand up. Yep. Okay. All right. You can sit down. You thought that there were just maybe two on this team. That is not true. You are all on the team. You are all on the team. Because every single time you walk through this building with the emphasis on care for creation, there are many opportunities that we bring this in as a way of life and living, whether it's the recycling that they do so well here in Minneapolis, right? The foods that we eat, you know, the care for creation is just flowing through all of us. So I appreciate that. And I also want to mention Becky Nordine. She'll be out here a little later with the children, because you're going to see the children have been a part of what we've created for all of us to share this Sunday, this weekend. And I also want to just point out, you already saw a little hint there. Yesterday we had our convening of the Council of All Beings, because today, this is exactly this weekend, and then what we do as we go forward is to remember this isn't just a human-centric universe. It includes all of creation, and we are here together, and somehow in the great universal way, we are here together. We are all earthlings. So those of us that came to the Council of All Beings yesterday and we were chosen, we had an experience that you're going to get to have right here without all the great props, just saying. So if those people that were there yesterday, if you will stand up, you'll see they've worn their masks. I was chosen by Rabbit. We chosen Rabbit. We got flowers, beetles, trees. We had birds. We had the most amazing glacier ice. Thank you for coming in with that representation of creation for us today. I want to continue just to be in gratitude, you know, because as we heard in the song, a lot of living on the earth right now is also feeling kind of grief, right? So we kind of hold grief and gratitude. So one of my ways to be with you today is be in this gratitude. I want to appreciate my host on this trip. I've been here for 5 weeks so far, Cassidy Meeks, that you all know. There she is. And I am now officially on the Milo Adoration Society. So, and then my very, very precious son, Isaac Long, and his beautiful wife, Jenna, that are here. But then, friends, we would be amiss if we did not honor First Nation people. And then, of course, leading with their example to remember our ancestors. Because every single one of our ancestors did the best that they could with the tools that they had. And we are here today We're here today through that ancestral line, right? So we appreciate our ancestors and my very grandfather that was born here in Chatfield, Minnesota. So I feel that connection to the ancestors here on this land. And then last but not least, the land itself. We live in the Great Lakes bioregion, and it is great and mighty. The greatest accumulation of fresh water on the planet. Everything is defined by water here. It's so important for us to keep honoring that water, the element that somehow shapes us in so many ways. And this started, I don't know when, but it started picking up again. I think I was on the stage to be ordained. Matthew, my husband, and he's not able to be with me on this trip, both longtime Unity ministers. I kept hearing this. It's kind of like Moses, hearing, take off your shoes, take off your shoes. And I was too self-conscious to do that for that ceremony. And I told myself, if I ever return there again and they invite me onto that stage, I will take off my shoes. But you got to kind of build up to some of those kind of less egotistical things. So I just invite you to take off your shoes today because we are on holy ground. And in this ministry, Unity Minneapolis, one of our very strong earth care ministries as a part of our unity movement, I just am so honored for the holy ground that you create that's in consciousness that allowed you to not only go to the other location and then return here. Wow. There is a strength in this ministry. It's holy ground. It's holy ground for us to be here, to learn together, to share together, to serve together. We find ourselves right now, in my view, we find ourselves in a great moral drama that is playing out across the earth, as it has been for as long as we have shared stories. So in some respects, it's not a new story, but in other ways, we are evolving the new story, the great turning. And it is a time where it may feel like everything's unraveling, and yet we are creating a new story by how we show up today. There's an amazing author, activist, environmentalist, entrepreneur by the name of Paul Hawkins. Some of you have probably heard of him. He wrote the book Blessed Unrest, How the Largest Movement in the World Came into Being and Why No One Saw It Coming. That's us. That's us. Because in so many ways, it's small, micro movements that are coming together and are hooking up in hubs. We're a hub. We're a hub of light right now. We're a hub of exploration. We're a hub of learning and growing. We're a hub for transformation to happen within our hearts. And so he said, and I better put my glasses on, just telling you, I gotta use these glasses. There we go. He says that this is a convergence of environmental, indigenous, and social justice movements, the largest social movement in the world. This movement, he says, is also the fastest growing movement ever, including more than 1 million organizations from every country around the world. Let's hear that. Let's hear that. It's not in the news, if you hadn't noticed. Let's hear the fact that we can see each other now in better ways. And in some ways, yes. Thank you. Yeah. That we are becoming not the watch dogs, but the watch hearts, right? That we are the watch hearts. And I learned this, of course, about the people of Twin Cities. And I just want to say it because I think you already know it, but you've been honored by the JFK Profile and Courage Award for risking your lives, protecting your neighbors, your immigrant community members from an unprecedented federal law enforcement operation peacefully. Defending the human rights, right? Right? Peacefully. the human rights and values that serve as the foundation of our constitutional democracy. We are still an experiment in democracy, are we not? And we also are the evolving, emerging edge of what the heart can do, and it is nonviolent. We have no master teachers, certainly not Yeshua. No master teachers saying this is the way you do it, with violence and force. You know where I read this is out of my best news source, in my opinion. It's called Nonviolent Times. And that's how I knew that this honor was coming to you. You know, I have this unique opportunity to be here with you, and it's also a time where we feel a lot of strain, a lot of, I feel it. You know, I haven't really ever said that I feel despairing. I haven't. I don't know why, but maybe right now the context of what I'm going through personally or whatever, but I feel this type of despairing when I see so much of a rollback of the consciousness that we kept building up in our country to care for the earth and the waters and the creatures, the forests, the clean air, always motivated in many ways by thinking of, most likely, in my view, our children. And I know we've been motivated by fear, and we're at that edge now in this way of emerging a consciousness to be here together at this time, to realize fear doesn't work. If fear was working, we would be in a very different way. So yesterday when we gathered together, one of the things that we honored was this grief and this despair and, you know, certain creatures that we think about and so much more. And I brought to our session what Joanna Macy in her work across the planet with many, many others, we call it the bowl of tears. And so you are invited after the service also to come up if you would like and write down something that's heavy on your heart and put it in this water, right? And then it will be brought to the land as I leave today to be reabsorbed in the land. Why is this so important to us? Well, I would say that because being positive is a good thing, and it's helpful for us, and singing is helpful for us. But we must learn to navigate through these times and also help our hearts. And so we have this here for you today. And I hear the question in myself, as I'm sure all of you do, wherever you're beaming in from. What's mine to do? Right? What's mine to do? And I feel overwhelmed. Like every single direction there's something to do. It's like Cassidy with a little one who's not even one yet. You pick it up and it's down within 1 second. Milo's got it on the floor and you're thinking, is it ever going to be put in order? And that's a light way of talking about this. But we know that there is that which is ours to do, but maybe a different type of question. That's question number one for us, just to own it. But what is ours to be? Okay, what is ours to be? Because when we think about rising up and meeting the injustices of our time, or walking through a grocery store parking lot, I keep bringing this up everywhere I'm at. What is ours to be? The children are watching. When we walk past trash, we're saying, this is how we do things around here. What is ours to be? What will move our hearts so that we will, as I live with a question, set aside so much self-interest. I'm in a hurry. I got to get in the grocery store. I got to get this. I got to do this, whatever. And actually ask, how am I going to pick this up? I don't have any gloves. Go through the whole process. But be willing to be the model for change. I know Adam and the Earth Care team said, what can we do? What can we do more? I'm going to do more around here, for the earth. And I said, be the model. Be the model of inspiration, education, those amazing study groups that you've created here and more, and then come together in the different ways that renew the sense of we're not alone, right? Right? Singing together. There's a great concert tonight. Come back out. Get here. Be with each other. Sing. Keep the heart really, really warm. So what do we know about this more? Be the more. Part of your series. When I think about more, it's sometimes the tilting point, right? The tipping point, almost like, you mean I'm going to do more? Anybody feel like that? Like, oh, geez, I'm going to do more? But what we know about love and the power of love. So in our Unity Ministries, we've been holding this up for a long time now. The co-founders began to notice it in meditation, Charles Fillmore in particular, that we are endowed with spiritual power. We didn't just come here just as our human wishy-washy self. We actually are of the universe. We are in the universe. We're in a model that is based on scientific principles. And our spiritual principles help us see that that's true for us. And the principle is this, that just as every seed out there will have to grow from within out, we grow from within out. There is a capacity to love and care that can grow from the within out. I got to be a mom, as you know, and Isaac is the second born and the last born to my husband Matthew and I. And I remember having this dilemma, like, could I love more? I mean, I loved that firstborn so much, opened up my heart, cracked me open. And you know what? You can. Love is not measurable. And so when we work with the power of love and caring and kindness, and you go out in the bitter cold to send a message to our government and to the world that we will not stand by, something grew right there in the people of Minnesota. And some of you weren't out there in the bitter cold, but you were picking up the 100-pound phone, and you were making those phone calls, and you were using your finger, and you were sending emails, and you were calling each other, and you were delivering groceries with each other, and you were sustaining spiritual community. All of these contributors are evidence of our ability to grow the power of love right now. And that's what we're about. What can we be right now? What's the more? For me, more has been a name for God. We made these little, probably Isaac was in Sunday school making them. We made these little magnets. We had mountains, and it said, God is more. And we gave them to everybody after the service. God is more. It's what we mean by that higher power, power greater than self. But when it comes right down to it, when we're meeting life and our difficulties and our challenges and we're in pain and suffering, it's that voice that says, I can't, and we get to God can. That's the more. That's the more we want to get to. And it's so important that we get to it. And one of the things that we want you to be able to realize today with us, as those that were with us yesterday, is just as, Rachel Carson, who comes out and makes this huge, wakes everybody up with her book, Silent Spring. And you fast forward, and you have the Earth Day, the first Earth Day in 1971. Bucky Fuller is on the scene, and we got alternative designs happening. This building is a great example of green architecture. It's got the passive solar that was designed right into it. So what are we designing today in 2026? Right? What is ours to be? What will keep our hearts very open as we go forward? And we have created an experience that's inside your Sunday program this morning. So if you will look in there, there is a picture. Very good. We want to thank Connie and everybody else that helped find the pictures, cut the pictures out. And then I believe that our ushers today, if you did not get a program this morning, if you'll raise your hand and they will bring it to you. Does anybody need a program this morning? Okay, good. Over here to the left. What we want to do is move aside from the human-centric view of how everything works, how to work with the more. It's to realize that that very good that we are seeking is already seeking us. I heard that in Unity when I was a baby, walking through the doors. The good that we are seeking is seeking us. And I believe it's all creation. It's waiting for us as the youngest of the species, the most mature of the species, to wake up and be with and work with, to realize that we're here on earth. That inspires us to awe because we can become cold-hearted, hard-hearted, closed-minded. Our minds are so important. We want them to open and expand in so many ways. You know, you can lose your mind. So in our unity way, our mind is the link with the divine mind. We want to work with it. We want to be at that emerging edge of light. Let there be light in the great creation story. Let there be light. So this is the light that's showing up for you today. There is some evidence of creation that's just chosen you. Because maybe it's not us always choosing the way, figuring out the way. There are those times in our life where we finally say, be the way, God. Be the way. Because I can't figure this out. We can't figure it out. But the creative wholeness and allness and oneness is already intelligent. And it is working in intelligent ways beyond any comprehension. You ever have that happen in your life? You can't figure something out, and then somebody comes along and tells you about some resource or something that could be available to you, and you think, wow, how'd that happen? Isn't that great? How'd the universe know? You ever have a bald eagle show up, or a rabbit? You ever have a first glimpse of sun, and all those rays just pierce through, and for a moment, a holy instant, whew, expanded. So what we'd like to invite with each other today is to be chosen. And so you see a picture now of some facet of creation that is here to speak to you. It's here as your medicine. Thank you, indigenous people of this continent. Medicine. It's here as the brother, sister, Robin Kimmerer, who has written these amazing books. You know, she's a scientist, she's a tribal member, and she's helping us develop language even, right? This is our kin. This is our kin. Our family members. And right now, as we know that the vote did not go the way I wanted it to go on those boundary waters, what I want to say to you is, how will we go forward? What is ours to do? What is ours to be? Let's be connected as one family. The word is mitakwiasan, Lakota language. All my relation. Mitakwiasan. Our ability to say, I am not alone. And the principle that I want to leave you with, and then a poem, because we want to be in poetry too, is from Isaiah, great prophet, probably one of the most quoted books of the Hebrew scripture and of our Bible. And in there it says, behold, I am doing a new thing. Have you not perceived it? We want to see with the eyes of spirit now that there is something phenomenally new in our midst. Use our words wisely. Be chosen by the universe. Say yes. Grow the power of love. So if you'll place your hand on your heart, perhaps that picture on your heart, and hear these words that I collected from one of our churches just last week. Victorious spirit, flame through the faintness of hesitant souls. Burn up ego's self-craving. Ignite compassion. so that selflessness, the life stream of humanity, wells up as the source of Spirit's rebirth. Oh, beloved oneness, we dedicate this energy, this consciousness, this inner commitment, this willingness to be one with all. On behalf of the earth and the children that inherit her. Aho. Thank you, friends.